Are you like most sales and other professionals who want to grow their wealth faster than what they are currently doing through their company 401k, even with that company match, the stock market, or just plain saving money? Would you sleep better at night if you had the financial freedom to be job optional in just 3 to 5 years through investing in real assets? Maybe you don't want to stop working, but wouldn't it be cool if you could retire a decade earlier than most? And do the traveling you and your family have planned for years while you're still young and can enjoy it? Let's face it, most busy professionals don't have the time or desire to take on more work outside of their W-2 to grow their wealth. On The Wealth Flow, each week we share the stories, the investments, and take a deep dive into the various asset classes that can deliver that accelerated growth to your portfolio passively. That's right, no extra work for you. Instead, we'll put your money to work. Learn what the 95% aren't talking about and join the top 5% of earners today on The Wealth Flow.
All right, welcome to The Wealth Flow. My guest today is Matt Shepard. Matt Shepard is with AMS Capital, LLC. Matt has created wealth by starting out really with single family and with very little left in his IRA, and we'll save his story for him to tell us, but has now built that up to a multi-state portfolio and has ventured from single family into multifamily as well. So, Matt, I am looking forward to this, and welcome to The Wealth Flow.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Yeah, let's start with your story, Matt. Really kind of where you grew up, what you did prior to investing in real estate, and what led you to this wonderful world of investing in real estate.
Yeah, so I started out, I grew up in Omaha, Nebraska, and I kind of started out putting myself through college in the trades, construction trades. So I was doing drywall work, I was doing maintenance, I was doing deliveries and stuff like that. Worked for a guy who had a small portfolio of multifamily. Put myself through college in Omaha, Nebraska to be in the mental health field. And then I moved to Denver, Colorado, and kind of got pretty burnt out on that fairly quickly, 2 or 3 years, and kind of went back to the trades. And then the market crash hit in 2008, 2009, and I just saw the opportunity to buy distressed assets, rehab them, and turn them into performing rentals. So my wife and I cashed out a $10,000 IRA that we had kind of forgotten about and bought our first single family rental.
Fantastic. And where did you buy that first one?
First one was in Aurora, Colorado, just east of Denver.
Okay. All right. And you were able to get into that with just the $10,000 down?
Yeah, probably a little less because we actually did two kind of almost at the same time. Like one we were able to acquire, and then like a week later, somebody said, "Hey, here's another one." So we acquired that one too. $10,000 in, but a lot of sweat.
Yeah. Okay. And so how did you finance these? Were these owner finance, or how did you, because obviously typically you're going to need more money than just 10 grand to get into those kind of properties, but I don't know price point and that kind of thing. So tell me a little bit about what those first couple look like, and kind of your thought process on buying two, right? Like a couple weeks apart from each other.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't really want to buy two right a couple weeks apart, but they both were good deals. They both dropped into my lap, so I took them both. One of them we did with a private hard money lender. So we put very little cash into the deal to start. They funded purchase and rehab because the deals looked good enough. I think we bought them both for right around $100,000 and had to put maybe $30,000 in for rehab.
Okay. And on that $30,000 rehab, though, that was actually coming from the hard money lender?
Yeah, pretty much
Uh,
most of it.
Okay. All right. That's great. And you said what time frame was this that you were buying those?
That was probably 2009, maybe 2010.
Okay. So kind of coming out of the Great Recession, real estate recession. And so private money lenders at that time were still being pretty good, it sounds like, as far as being able to offer money for rehab, that kind of thing. I know here anyway, they've sort of pulled back a little bit and want a little bit more money in the deals. It seems. So the fact that you were able to get almost all of it financed plus the rehab is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think we were just buying at such a deep discount back then in 2009, 10 that private money lenders were excited to lend into these deals and let us do our thing and rehab them and make them nice properties for people to live in. I mean,
Okay.
we would appraise going into that one there probably close to 150,000 or 70,000.
Okay.
So we bought it for about 100,000, put in 30,000, appraised for 150, 170.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, they're looking at the after repair appraised value on a lot of these to determine what they're doing. What kind of rehab did you do on the first couple?
One of them was pretty light. It was basically just flooring and new kitchen cabinets. And I think we cleaned up the bathrooms a little bit, maybe a new vanity, new toilet, but nothing extensive. And then the other one, we actually finished the basement on it because I don't know exactly what happened with the seller, but the seller had started to work on the basement. Like they had plumbing tore up and stuff like that. I remember looking at it and seeing all the plumbing tore up, and we were like, how are they living here? And apparently they weren't. Well, we basically finished the basement on that one.
Okay. Awesome. And how long did that take for the rehab itself?
I mean, we put in a lot of sweat equity, got people to help us. We tried to get in and out of them pretty quickly, maybe 3 months to get them refinanced because we didn't want to pay the hard money rates any longer than we had to.
Okay. That's a quick turnaround. And so tell me a little bit about that. So you rehabbed them, and then did you go and find the renter for them before doing a refinance, like doing a basically kind of a burr where you're renting it and then going into the refinance portion of it?
Yeah, it was exactly a burr, but I've been doing this so long that we didn't call it a burr then. We just called it
Yeah, that
rehab and
was
rent. It was before we came up with the cool term of the burr. But yeah, I found my own tenants. Back then, I was doing all my own management, showing the property, screening tenants, etc. Since then, I've hired a property manager to let them handle all that because I feel like that's more headache and time than I want to invest. It's
yeah,
easier to spend my money on a manager than to invest that time and effort.
for sure, for sure. Well, and pricing wise, it sounds like a great deals that you got. And I don't know, I kind of know where Aurora is. We go to Colorado quite a bit and have, since I was little. My brother used to live in Denver, in the Denver area. But so $100,000 was still so possible. I'm sure pricing now has gone, through the roof out there. It's not anywhere close to 100 grand, I would imagine, huh?
Yeah, definitely not anymore. Now that I think about it, I actually still own those two properties.
Oh, do
So
you
for
really?
15, 20 years, yeah.
Oh my
We've
gosh.
refinanced them a couple of times. We've gotten some cash out, stuff like that. But now they're probably worth 400 to 500 off the top of my head.
I was going to say, yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, 15 years, 20 years is going to do a lot, but Colorado really saw an increase in pricing, over the last decade. And so that's awesome. So you got the two initially, you put renters in them, you successfully refinanced both of them. were you able to pull your money back out then? And did that provide you kind of seed money to put into the next deal?
I don't think we really pulled much cash out, but we never really had to put more cash in.
Okay.
So by the time you collect rents for a few months, find another deal, get into it, basically we were kind of just keeping even and not having to put more money in, not having to take money out.
Okay.
Just keep recycling the capital.
Perfect. And so you did the first two, the fairly close to each other. Just happened to find two good deals at within weeks of each other, and then you were off to the races. Got the renters in them. Then what did you? How long before you purchased your next?
That one's a tough one. I definitely took a little break because trying to do two at the first and the outset was like a lot of work. I want to say that we did those kind of in the spring and we found another one in the fall.
Okay. So
I think
still
the
within
next,
the same year.
yeah, I actually got married in 2009 too. So my wife and I kind of had a trial by fire start to our marriage.
Yeah.
That first year, I wouldn't be surprised if we did half a dozen deals and then just kept getting bigger and bigger.
And how were you? I know you're getting rents from some of the others. Were you working at the time, or how were you funding some of these deals? Or was it just basically kind of still following that same process? You were working with hard money lenders and really not having to put all that much into the initial purchase as long as you found the right deal that would appraise for after repair value?
Yeah, so finding the right deal was key. Having a great wife was also key, I think.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
She was super understanding, super supportive, helped me work on projects, even like, manual labor on projects. But the great thing too was she had a W-2 income.
Mm-hmm.
So we could qualify for loans at a pretty good rate with her W-2 income helping to qualify us. The properties would pay for themselves entirely, but lenders really like it when they saw her on the loan with a W-2 income. And back then, she'd been with her company still probably 5-10 years. Now it's 20-25 years. So
Okay.
they really like seeing that back in 2008 when people were losing jobs and etc.
For
She had been
sure.
with her company for 5-10 years and they were excited to lend.
Okay. And so on all of these, once you've got them rehabbed, you were putting a renter in them and then just holding on to them and just continuing to build your portfolio.
Yeah, I mean, until the last 5-10 years, we really hadn't sold much. So
Okay.
in 2008, we probably didn't start selling anything off maybe until, wow, it actually might have been after like the COVID pandemic when we started selling things off when appreciation got so high in Denver so quick. Just made a ton of sense to sell off single families, buy multifamilies, switch markets.
Yeah. So how many then prior to selling off some of the homes during kind of COVID or right around the COVID timeframe, how big did your portfolio get at that point?
We probably were sitting around 35, 40 doors when we started getting rid of single families and getting into multifamilies more.
Okay. Now, how were you able to continue to were you doing conventional financing on all these, or did you switch over at some point? Typically you're trying to get, I'm just thinking of loan caps as far as the number of homes financed conventionally. What were you doing to get around some of that stuff for the audience?
So that was actually one of our growth hurdles. We kind of started so early that nobody had come up with a portfolio style loan.
Okay.
So as soon as I started hearing about the portfolio style loan where you could package 5, 10, I mean, I've heard of people packaging like 100 different single families into one portfolio loan.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as that product started happening, we packaged our single family portfolio into one loan. And then we could go out and get, I think it was about 8 more single family loans just through a Fannie and Freddie type package.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kept doing that. We just kept adding more portfolio loans and then going back out and getting more Fannie and Freddie style loans. And then when we would max out that 8 to 10, I think it was, for Fannie and Freddie, we would package those into a portfolio loan and move on again.
Wow, that's awesome. And
A lot of too much talking to bankers.
yeah, well, exactly. But it's really cool that you were able to do that. So, from it's you and your wife kind of teaming up on this. But tell me a little bit. How are you? Is there anything that any connections with like RIAs, local real estate investment clubs or groups, or how are you learning to do some of this stuff, or did you just kind of figure it out on your own, or were you working with or learning from a group?
I mean, I've definitely got in there, learned from experience, but I've also had a couple of good mentors along the way. The first agent that I really credit with being a mentor for me helped a lot. He had been a real estate agent for probably 10 years prior to me coming on board with him. So he helped a lot navigating things. He actually ran a few investor meetup groups and stuff like that. So I would
Okay.
go to his meetup groups and meet other people. I think he put me in touch with one or two of my first kind of private hard money lender people. When we started out, there was really not like a big nationwide shop where you could go and get private money. You had to kind of know somebody who had the cash that wanted to put down and put a lien against the property for you so that you could buy the property. So he connected me with a few of those people. And a few of those people had, kind of started out in real estate and then decided that they didn't want the sweat and the headache of dealing with things on a day-to-day basis. So they pulled their cash out, then became private hard money lenders. So even some of those people you could call up, you'd be like, hey, I've never seen this before. Like, have you ever seen this thing? And they would help me along sometimes too. They had money on the line, so they wanted to make sure I was successful.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's neat. I mean, it's really quite a journey. Just to be able to go from your first two at once. I mean, right off the bat, you were kind of a clip ahead. A lot of people doing two at the same time, and then turning around and not even half a year later buying another one. So that's really neat. What from an equity standpoint, when you were coming into kind of the COVID timeframe and taking a look back at what you've built, how much wealth were you building at that time with that real estate?
Pre-COVID, I think we probably had like $5 million in equity.
Yeah.
Post-COVID, we probably had maybe $8 million in equity.
That's awesome. And so you were buying all around the Colorado area on these initial ones, like all around the Denver or Aurora area?
Mostly Denver Metro.
Denver Metro, okay.
We still have one property, I think, that we bought kind of in that same area that was up in the Summit County area, which is where all the ski resorts are at.
Yep. Okay. Fantastic. And so at some point along the way, you're looking at all this equity and you've decided that you want to get into multifamily. Why the shift? I mean, clearly the single family game was working for you pretty well to allow you to be able to grow that much wealth and accumulate that much equity in a reasonably short period of time. But you decided to switch over to multifamily.
Yeah, I feel like the logistics just get so much more difficult when you're dealing with 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 single families, it's way easier just to buy 10, 20, 30 units under one roof, or, one complex, whatever you want to say. Typically, your furnaces are all the same. Your bathrooms, your toilets, your kitchens are all the same. Like, if somebody in unit A calls you and says that their toilet goes out, it's probably the same toilet as unit C, D, E, or F. So
Right.
you can just say, all right, I'll send my vendor out and they'll bring the toilet with them and they'll put it in. Where, like, you'd have somebody call you for a single family and they'd be like, oh, my furnace is out. And you'd be like, okay, well, I have to send the vendor over there first. And they'll have to tell me you know, what they need to replace it with and what model and all that stuff. And then they'll probably have to run and go get another one. And then, it just becomes a lot more organization, a lot more headache to try and fix things, repair things, keep things on track.
Yeah, for sure. No, it makes sense. And I guess when you get up to that, that number, that just the sheer number of them, at that point, yeah, it seems to simplify things quite a bit to go to multifamily. So tell me, Matt, about your first multifamily deal. What type of an investment was it, and how did you fund it? Were you in it as a general partner, a limited partner? Did you buy a small multifamily on your own? What did that look like?
Yeah, so we've bought all our stuff on our own basically until recently in the last 3 to 5 years. We basically just worked our way up from single family. We throw in a duplex, we throw in a quadplex, and then eventually we started throwing in 6, 8, 12 units. And now we're starting to look at stuff that's 50 to 150 units, trying to syndicate those.
Okay. And was there anything on those first couple that you saw just as, probably duplex, it's kind of close to the single family, but it's still one closing, and being able to rent it out. And you were slowly seeing, and are these all still in the Colorado area as you started to go into the multifamily?
Yeah, definitely still in the Colorado area up until, let's say COVID time period. And then after the COVID time period, we started selling stuff off in the Denver metro area. So we started moving to different areas.
Okay. So where else did you look after Denver?
We've got a few things in Nebraska. We've got a few things in Kentucky, a few things in northern Alabama now. Northern Alabama has definitely become kind of my go-to spot for looking for things.
Okay. Where in northern Alabama do you like, and why?
I really like Birmingham, Huntsville, and then there's a few other smaller towns around there. Huntsville's brilliant because the government is there full force. They've got NASA there. They've got a couple of different other government agencies there. A lot of the letter agencies, FBI, CIA, have offices there. They're building out the Redstone Arsenal for just, what do I want to say, scientific development, scientific research. Huntsville has not had a down year in population growth for 50 years. So super stable, super reliable. And I can still find deals. A lot of times you find these markets and they're really great, but everybody's in them. So you're fighting for deals. I mean, I guess I'm giving away the secret sauce right now, but I like Northern Alabama because I can find some deals.
Yeah, I like it. I like it too. I love the downtown. I don't know how much time you spend in the actual town, but just a really cool town. I mean, they've really redone parts of it. I used to, for my prior W-2, have to be there quite a bit. And I mean, the downtown area has just changed dramatically, and just some really, really cool, whether it be buildings. I love their little downtown area with the pond in the middle. And in the wintertime, they got ice skating, and they've got, I've been to a really cool speakeasy and an old school that they redeveloped and repurposed. And there's some really cool stuff in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, and I like Birmingham too because it's just kind of like right behind Huntsville, I think. They've done a ton of downtown redevelopment.
They
Downtown's
have.
super nice. They're trying to develop this area called Uptown. We've got a property just like 3, 5 blocks from Uptown. Uptown's got a Top Golf. It's got a nice hotel, a bunch of restaurants. And then they're tearing down this old hospital. I guess you want to call it a big complex. It's got to be 20 acres of hospital building. They're going to put a stadium in there for concert events and stuff like that. So, I mean, I almost like Birmingham a little better for kind of the value add bit because I feel like I can buy a little deeper, add value, fix it up, make it nice, and then kind of wait on the development to happen at Birmingham. Where I feel like Huntsville's kind of already established. You're kind of paying a little more of a premium to get something that's a little more established.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Either way, very bullish on, and I like Birmingham as well. I love their downtown area. I don't know that I've spent much time in this area that you're talking about. Uptown. I've stayed mainly downtown. There's one of the hotels there that they used to call like the heaviest corner of Birmingham. It's a Marriott property, but it's just really, really cool downtown with lots of good restaurants and everything within walking distance. But that's really kind of an older part of downtown, so it may not be the area that you're referring to.
Yeah, the newer Uptown area is just to the north on the other side of the interstate.
Okay.
I think the funny thing too about downtown Birmingham is they've like really adopted the electric scooters and stuff.
Right.
So you'll be wandering around downtown Birmingham and all of a sudden you'll see a bunch of people zoom by on their little electric scooters,
Right.
which I think
Right.
is kind of funny and it's kind of neat. You can just walk out of your hotel, grab the electric scooter and scoot off to dinner and then come back on your scooter.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that's neat. So what are you buying in those areas now, Matt? Like, I guess maybe where did you buy last, and tell us a little bit about what the property
Uh,
was.
the last one I've been thinking about is just that one I was just talking about that's right near Uptown, 6 units. And I bought this personally for myself. 6 units, big value add. We had to redo electrical, we had to redo HVAC. I don't think we had to do much with the plumbing, new roof, but it was a big value add. All new kitchens, updated bathrooms and everything. It was kind of really disgusting when we bought it. Like you walked in there and you're like, this one's pretty darn stinky. I think I'll walk back out.
Yeah.
Um, and then I bought another one for myself, kind of to the east side of Birmingham, place called East Lake. That one was in a little better shape, but still I'd not gotten the attention from the owner before that they needed it. So there was a lot of deferred maintenance, things that were on their last legs, a lot of hot water tanks that were on their last legs, HVAC that was on its last legs. And then the exterior was like a drab brown, looked kind of disgusting. Painted it nice, new, contemporary colors. Hopefully makes everybody feel a little better about living there.
Yeah, for sure. And are you seeing your what do you anticipate seeing? I guess obviously, I go back to kind of like your portfolio that you had in Colorado, and it seems you recognize some amazing appreciation. Do you think you're going to see that with Birmingham, with Huntsville, or do you feel it's going to be more steady as far as the
I think I think Huntsville's more steady as far as cash flow. I'm definitely moving my appreciation into more cash flowing properties.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to see the appreciation that I saw before, but I don't. If somebody was going to tell me that they were going to see amazing appreciation, I don't know if I'd believe them.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're going to see the same appreciation in the next 5 years that we saw in the last 5 years. regardless of where you're buying. But I definitely think Birmingham's got more of an opportunity for appreciation just because of all the development that they're doing downtown with the uptown and the downtown area. And then even this area that I'm talking about in Eastlake, like you'll drive down the street and you'll see 5 houses that are pretty beat up, need rehab, and then you'll see 5 houses where somebody has just done awesome looking flips. So I definitely think the market's got more appreciation room than, say, Huntsville.
Okay. Yeah, and I've heard good things about. I don't know if it's still the same mayor, but I've had somebody who's doing a bunch of flips and things down there on the show, and just had really good things to say about the mayor, I guess, as far as what they're doing with downtown Birmingham. So
The mayor seems to be definitely really doing good things in Birmingham. The only thing I could say is that he doesn't really like to toot his own horn, and he almost needs to toot his own horn a little more. You'll see a post or something from the mayor of Birmingham, because I follow him to make sure I'm up to date on everything that's going on. And I'll hear about Coca-Cola building a new plant on the east side of Birmingham from other news sources. And the mayor of Birmingham never really toots his own horn, so to speak. Like, I almost feel like he needs somebody to kind of sing the praises of Birmingham for him.
yeah, it makes sense. Well, especially, yes, if you're, if you are the mayor and you're doing some great things, it's important to let everybody know about it. So, yeah, Maura McGraw, McGraw is the one I'm thinking of that was on the show, and she's still doing quite a bit of business down there with doing flips and whatnot. So, and has good things to say about it. So now you're looking, Matt, at multifamily as well and raising capital for some deals. Have you raised for anything and gotten into some larger multifamily?
So we're kind of starting out in the raising capital for multifamily.
Okay.
I've raised capital for all my single family stuff, just kind of on a one-to-one basis, but really looking to branch out, try and do more one-to-many marketing, get more people involved. We did have a raise for 38 units in Huntsville. We're kind of on the back burner on that now. I guess that's a bad pun, actually, because they had a oven catch fire, so we're just kind of waiting on them, trying to figure out what they want to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually probably a new one for me. Like a week or two before closing, they called us up and they said, really hate to say this, but we had a fire last night and fire department came and put out the fire, but there's fire damage on adjacent units and one unit is really bad off. And I guess they're kind of talking to their insurance agent right now, trying to see what they want to do, trying to see if they want to rehab that property or that building, because it was multiple buildings, rehab that building and give it to us kind of in a rehab state, or if they want to just maybe take money from the insurance company and then cut us a deal on the purchase price. I really just kind of let the ball be in their court and let them have some space to figure out what they want to do. Didn't really push too hard on them, so we kind of push pause on that raise, I guess. And when the seller comes back to us and figures out what they want to do, we'll maybe press the restart button or whatever.
Yeah. So are you still in contract on that one then and just kind of waiting to hear the response, or have they?
No, we just kind of let it fall out of contract, mutually agreed, let it fall out of contract. But they know I'm still interested regardless of how I take the property. I'm still interested. They just need to decide how they want to give me the property, I guess.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. So that was one of the first ones. Tell me a little bit about what that deal maybe looked like, is from a raise standpoint. How much were you going to need to raise, and kind of what was your business plan on that one?
It was kind of a small raise. It was definitely a value add play. Purchase price was about 2.6 million. We wanted to raise about $1 million to have a nice cushion for rehab, any kind of overages, because it's definitely a property where they hadn't done a lot of maintenance, and the seller just really didn't want to put any money into the property. So we were going to raise about $1 million. IRR was about 20% off the top of my head. And then we
Nice.
were going to probably do 6 to 9 months of rehab and then refinance it into a perm type loan, hold it for 3 to 5 more years, and sell it off. It was kind of interesting. It was part of a development. So there's about 100 units total, I think, and we were under contract for about 38. But there was another majority owner who owned, let's say, another 38. And they were kind of interested in maybe selling off after they saw what we did, because they were really concerned about trying to bring the neighborhood up. They were on board to help us. They wanted to repaint their buildings, repaint the entire neighborhood, kind of spruce the neighborhood up. So I kind of think like once they saw us bring those other units into a better situation, get them rehabbed, get them nicer, I kind of feel like that owner would have decided to maybe either sell or do some kind of a JV deal so that we could own the whole or control the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Certainly would give you, I guess, a little bit more leverage on, kind of bringing up the whole neighborhood there. That's fantastic. What other spots are you looking right now? So mainly focused kind of in the Birmingham and Huntsville area, and I guess what's in your buy box?
Definitely looking northern Alabama area, Birmingham, Huntsville, Decatur, areas like that. I'll look for stuff personally to acquire up to about $1 million personally, which is usually 10, maybe 15 units max.
Okay.
And then I'm keeping my eye out for good deals to be able to bring to LPs. So those are typically, the 36 unit one was a bit on the small side, but those are typically 50 to 150 units.
Okay.
Probably in the $3 to $5 million purchase range. I kind of want to do smaller deals do more smaller deals instead of doing one big deal, because I like to have stuff for LPs to come into on a regular basis. I don't want to talk about how we're going to do some deals and never have a deal for 12 months.
Yeah, makes sense. And are you finding, obviously you found this 38 unit, but are you finding deals, or do you feel like, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in the, in the environment out there right now, as far as being able to find things?
It seems like deal flow was a bit better last year. Maybe it's just a wintertime thing right now, since we're kind of in the wintertime. I haven't seen as much in the last couple of months, but got people out there looking for me, people trying to find deals for me.
And are you working with brokers on these, or are you finding some of these off market, or how are you going about finding your deal flow?
So I actually have had the best luck working with brokers.
Yeah.
Even in my entire 20-year career, or whatever we want to call it, I've always had the best luck working with brokers. I know a lot of people make their business out of working with off-market stuff. I just never have had that much luck with it. I don't know if I'm missing something on the working with off-market sellers or whatnot, but they never seem motivated. They never seem ready to pull the deal. They kind of are just, I don't know what I want to say, fishing to see what you're going to give them for a property. So I always seem to have the better luck working with brokers, making sure I have good relationships with brokers. And, they'll have a seller come to them, and maybe we'll do it without ever listing it. We'll do it off market because they know that I can close. Or maybe I'll see something come on the market and I'll have one of my brokers just run after it and get it under contract as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. And what is it yourself? Are you working with a group of other folks? I know obviously because you and I recently connected out at Raise Fest, so I know you're obviously in Raise Masters and have a group of people there that can certainly be partners with you. But do you have any intentions of going in on one of these next properties with a specific group, or are you looking at trying to do and find this on your own?
So I've got a guy that I partner with usually. We worked on a few deals together. We want to keep working together. He does a bit more of the, I guess, day-to-day operation stuff. And I try and do a little more of the back end, the fund management type stuff.
And he's got good experience and has done a lot of the operational stuff, kind of putting systems in place, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he's done a decent amount of like ground up new build stuff. He's managed his own rental portfolios. He's had a W-2 job where he's had to manage a ton of people. So I think he's got the experience, and that allows me to do some more of the back end, manage the fund, manage the syndication, meet with LPs, stuff like that.
So let me ask you a question, Matt. Like you've had a ton of experience. You've really built an amazing portfolio, and sounds like had some tremendous support and help with your wife as well. And just having that ability, that part is certainly awesome. Over the years, what's maybe one or two, lessons or ahas that you've learned along the way that maybe you could share with the audience for somebody else who's maybe maybe they're at that spot where they're ready to maybe not take down two at once, but maybe they're just getting started, and or maybe they're a little further along the way, and maybe it's an epiphany of coming into going from single family to multifamily. I don't know, but whatever the what are some of the, if there's one or two lessons that you've learned over your time frame of investing that you feel like would be valuable to share with the audience?
Network.
Network. Okay.
It seems like a simple, easy answer, but it's a skill. Networking with people, meeting people, introduce yourself, ask how you can add value. If you've got a question, feel free to ask. There's so many times where I'd call up somebody that I was working with as a mentor or mentee or whatever you want to say, and I'd ask them a question like, have you ever seen this? Like, am I the only one who's ever seen, I don't know, a seller back out of a property, or a seller back out of a sale, or, one time we found meth on a property. Like, just talk with your network and see who's got some answers for you. I mean, I think people forget about trying to ask who can help them instead of like how they do things. It's the book, I can't remember the name of it because I'm going to mess it up. Who, not how. Yeah. Who, not how. Just ask your network, feel out who can help you with something, because most of the time people are going to be happy to help you. And I think a lot of people are scared to ask questions and ask who can help them instead of trying to research online. Just ask who, because you're going to get better results by asking people that you already know what they know, if they can help you or not.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And, I think that's advice I would just, second in the sense that I can remember when I was starting out, and I almost looked at another investor or, whether it be another business person when I was, had my real estate business or whatever, just as almost a competitor, when half the time, if you just open up to them, they're really actually a partner, and they're somebody that can share their experience with you. To me, it's amazing how many people are out there that really are willing to help you, to bend over backwards to help you. They've been there. If they've been there before and they know a way to get out of it or to help you through it, most cases they're going to share that. It's such a different world than maybe what some folks would think. if that makes
I've
sense.
got I've got a guy now who's funded 5 or 6 of my last deals.
Hmm.
For a He works for a national lender, and him and I both started in the Denver metro about the same time, and I still remember him talking about walking into this one neighborhood in East Aurora and saying, "There's no deals left because Matt bought them all." And I was laughing at it, but, like, he we kinda, like, had a bit of a competitive nature to it, but we were still, friendly about it. And now he's focused more on working for this national lender, making his business that way. So
Hmm.
now he's doing all these loans for me. So, we were kind of competitive. We kind of would give each other grief every once in a while, like, oh, you stole all the properties in that neighborhood. But now we still work together. We worked together then. We still work together now. And he's done, 6 deals for me in the last 12 months, probably.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So even though there was a little bit of competitiveness at the beginning, now here you guys are partnering up, working together in some capacity. And so network, just kind of keeps going back to that. So that's great. How about Matt? I know you, obviously, as you continue to look and find these deals, you're scouting different areas, whether it be Alabama, wherever. How can people find out more about you if they want to be abreast with what you happen to have coming up and want to potentially partner with you as a limited partner?
I mean, I'm on all the socials. LinkedIn's a big one for me, Matt Shepard. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, usually as Matt Shepard, RE Investor.
Okay.
And then I've got tons of resources on my website, amscapitalllc.com. You can go on there. You can see my 2 newest books, which I just published. You can see a bunch of blogs posts, a bunch of videos. We do walkthroughs on our properties. You can see where our properties are at and stages of rehab. I try and do those I'd like to say I do them monthly, but it's probably more like 6, 8 weeks. Try and give everybody an update where all our deals are at. Walk through the properties. You can see properties that we've just acquired. You can see properties that are in the middle of rehab. You can see them finished. You can see
Fantastic.
everything we're doing.
No, that's great. So obviously you can run into Matt there, keep track of what he's doing, and hopefully everybody will go to that. Give us the name of that book that you just published.
Yeah, we just dropped it today. It's just live today. It's called Humble Beginnings. It's all about my start in Omaha, Nebraska as a, I don't know, bootstrapping individual going through college, moving on to cashing out a $10,000 IRA to buy my first rental property. And now where I'm at now, trying to do these multifamily syndication deals.
Fantastic. An amazing journey for sure, Matt. So humble beginnings. And I'm going to ask you for one other book recommendation. Obviously, go to Matt's website, connect with him, get the humble beginnings. It truly is an amazing story. I mean, you heard just even the single family journey, getting up to $8 million in equity from, starting with just one, and a little $10,000 IRA cash out. To building just an amazing amount of wealth. And so with that, is there another book that you would recommend? It doesn't have to be real estate related, certainly can be something you've read that's been impactful.
I've been reading, I'm kind of thinking about doing a little more business buying. I'm
Mhm.
just starting to think about it. And I've been reading Cody Sanchez's book lately
Mhm.
about business buying. The title, I believe, is Main Street Millionaire.
It is. Yep. Yep. That's a great
So
one.
I've been reading her stuff, following her stuff. I feel like she kind of has this same attitude that I do, where it's like just get in there, get after it, and get it done. And that's kind of how I like to get in there and get it done too.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great book. I've recommended that one to many folks. Cody's great, and it's amazing what's happening out there in the business buying world as well. Just buying those boring businesses, as she would say. So,
Mhm.
um, Well, Matt, this has been fantastic, man. I'm glad we had an opportunity to get together, and I really appreciate you being a guest on the Wealth Flow.
Yeah, appreciate your time too.
Yep. Thanks, Matt.
Being that you're still here, I trust you found value in this episode. I personally wish I would have known these guests and strategies when I started my wealth creation journey. Go to wealthflow.capital to subscribe to our newsletter. And as a free gift, we will send you our quarterly market report and the top 10 things to look for in an investment opportunity. Take a minute to give our show a rating and review. Help us reach 1 million professionals by subscribing and sharing this episode with someone you know who could also find value in it.